Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Final Boss Fight. I'll just wait for reactive images to show up. They've changed. The guy who does reactive images has changed how he does it, so now I'm hoping this will work. If not, I have to do a bit of tweaking here. Anyway, welcome to Final Boss Fight. My name is Jeff, and we are here playing some more Call of Cthulhu horror on the Orient Express. Joining me tonight are playing... Oh, they come up. Playing Nancy Sutherland, we have Sarah J.
Hi.
Playing Maya Havdat, we have the One-Winged Angel.
Hello.
Playing Major Sebastian Mercy, we have the Dark Lord Richard.
Hello.
And playing Edward Beatty, we have Brian Croy Dragon.
Hello.
And Richard, do you want to give us a recap of what happened last episode?
I think we missed out.
You didn't say
We did
me.
not.
I was going to say, Ruben.
I'm going to be honest, you said you were going to be late. I wasn't expecting you.
I've been here. I
Oh,
was here before you started the stream. I've talked to you.
oh dear. Playing Roland Billio, we have Steamed Chew. It's going well. We're only just starting. It's going well.
Yep.
Anyway,
I think that's an ominous sign for your character in this one. Yeah.
They already talked about throwing your character under the Cthulhu. So
Yeah.
Anyway, Richard, you want to give us a recap of the last session?
Yes, I do, very much so. So, our band of investigators met at a museum, all sharing an interest in history, and many of us having the shared acquaintance of Professor Julius Arthur Smith. We were all strangers to each other at the beginning, but the professor introduced us to each other. Our party consists of myself, Major Sebastian Mercy, soldier and pillar of the British Empire, Maya Havdat, thief of some little infamy, Edward Beatty, former soldier and a man who's taken part in various archaeological investigations, Monsieur Roland Billiot, a French butcher, and that's literally a butcher, not a terrifying assassin, someone who deals with meat. And they're on a nice holiday that's been interrupted by all this. And Nancy Sutherland, a governess. So after Professor Smith brought us all together, he then invited us to a lecture he was given the next day. Got a bit creepy towards the end, but it was enjoyable. And then we learned the next day in the paper that Professor Smith's house had burned down and he was missing. So, being very concerned friends that we were, we rushed to his home, which we found, was indeed burned down, and with a very obliging policeman guarding the door who just let us in. And we sort of searched the ruins a bit, and we found some, I believe it was some notes, some papers of the professor. Once we were done there, a stranger approached us, I believe, and gave us a card from Professor Smith, who had asked us to meet him at a certain location. We rushed to join him. And if I remember rightly, the professor was terribly, terribly injured in the fire and was not well. And I believe that he said the fire was due to foul play. He also alerted us to the presence of a conspiracy concerning an artifact called the Sedilkar Simulacrum, which is an occult artifact of evil power. Professor Smith then charged us with the task of finding the artifact, which I believe is in several pieces scattered across Europe, and destroying it before evildoers get their hands on it. From that, we started making plans and carrying out research into the various things. There was also some business in the papers about people dying and spontaneous combustion. A lot of other affairs that now seems to all be related. And I believe the last thing that happened was when Miss Sutherland was doing some research in a library or some manner of learned institution. The person next to her had been brutally murdered, which we felt was a message sent to us by these sinister forces.
I was in the British Library.
In the British Library.
It was
And it was
Nancy
very
and
brutal.
Nancy and Edward in the British Library.
Yes, but they were quiet about it, which I think the staff would have appreciated, it being a library. I'm not sure if I've missed anything out there, but I think I've got...
Maya have that went to one of the victims' houses who combusted.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yes, and you refused to pay a penny or something, and instead broke into a house.
Yep.
And I think that pretty much brings us up to date. So, just remember, Maya, you found a note. You had found a note before about a train set that this man had bought, Henry Stanley had bought.
Mm-hmm.
And when you went to his house in his room, you didn't find the train set, but you found a note saying maybe the London Transporters Association might like this or something like that. Anyway, I think that pretty much brings us up to date. So it is Tuesday, the 9th of January. Edward and Nancy are continuing their research. They'll continue research until the 10th when the body is discovered. I'll bring us across to the map of London, where we were when we finished. And I finally saw on the map where the Henry Stanley's house was. So Maya, you've been moved up to the top of the map. That's where Henry Stanley's house is. So on Monday evening, you would have all reconvened back at the hotel. Would you have all filled each other in on the events of the day?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you're all together. You're all currently at your hotel. Tuesday dawns. Edward and Nancy will be going back to the library to continue their research. What would the other three of you like to do? Roland, Sebastian, and Maya. What would you like to do? Just a
Is
bit
there
of
any other leads?
just a bit of housekeeping. If you get stuck, there is a hint system in the form of me. So if you do get stuck, you can ask for a hint, and I'll ask you for what is called an idea roll, which is your intelligence. And based on that, I'll be able to give you hints as to what to do next. But my first hint will always be go back to your handouts, go back to your notes.
Well, we could do some research on... I know... I think that this is what Nancy and Ed were doing about researching some of the people and places mentioned in the notes we had about the simulacrum. So it was Comte Fenelek and stuff about Venice when Napoleon invaded.
Mm-hmm.
Johann Winkelmann, the museum in Trieste. Museum in Belgrade. And a piece was in Paris after the Great War and sold to someone from Milan. So I don't know if we could try to find out what that piece was and who this person from Milan is.
Because isn't there that artist that's still missing as well, even though there's 3 bodies being found with his name?
Mm-hmm.
So surely that maybe the thing from Paris might be connected to him.
Yes,
Yes.
that makes a lot of sense.
So maybe, what is it that we're looking for from Paris? Is it
Well, it's a piece of the simulacrum.
Simulacrum? Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently, it's in various bits, and they've been spotted throughout Europe, it seems.
Yeah.
But some of them have not been seen. They're all the references from 100 years ago or something. But this one, after the Great War, isn't that long.
No.
Also, a bit of other housekeeping. did book your tickets on the Orient Express. That was another thing. You did.
Yes.
You were told that the earliest train you could get would be the 14th. Since then, I have actually figured out this timetable. So
It's not. It's now.
So just to tell you that, to save you the trouble of reading through it, the train will depart. The first train that you can get on will depart on the 14th of January at 2:30 from London Victoria, and that is a boat train to Dover, which will then take you across on the ferry to Calais, and then carry on from there to Paris. So that is your train time now. You don't have to get it on the 14th. You can get it any time after that. But I'm just saying that is essentially that's a time for you to work to. That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
And it is currently the 9th.
So 5 days.
Did we have any information like these people, the bad people who are murdering people and whatnot? Do we know anything about like them as an organization? Is there anything we had on them, or is it just like random evildoers?
All you have is what's in your notes and in your handouts at the moment. That's all you know about. That's all you know at the moment. Somebody was after Professor Smith, but he wouldn't be sure who it was. All he had was a name. Like, all he had it's a suspicion of a name, I should say. Yeah.
Yes. And we went to his house, didn't we? Or his
shop.
Yes.
His shop.
But we didn't really find anything apart from records for an entry from Randolph Alexis, which was a train set bought by Henry Stanley.
I'm trying to think if there's a. Oh, I wonder, could we go to like the Turkish embassy and ask them about him, because they may have some information on Turkish nationals in the country.
Yes, you very much can actually. Turkish embassy. Is the Turkish embassy on this map? It's not on the map. Bear with me one moment. I'll show you where the Turkish embassy is. I need all of Turkish embassy is there. Turkish embassy is here.
Oh,
just outside of Regent's Park. Yep, just outside of Regent's Park.
Well, I mean, various embassies might be a good place to go if we're going to Paris. We're presumably going to go to Venice. I think it was Serbia. So I don't know. Like maybe we could start like arranging things for when we get to these places. But I think
that's a point. I mean, sorry.
Just to interject, you have found one clue. I think Edward and Nancy either find it on the 9th or on the 10th, but we'll say that you say that you know already, and they may tell you. They will find a note suggesting that they look in the Bibliothèque Nationale for a reference to the Devil's Simulare.
Yep.
So yeah, just like keep that in mind, like where you might want to go when you get to these places.
Yeah.
So, is that where you're going? Is that your plan of action?
I was going to say it might be worth popping to the London Train Spotters Association as well.
Of course, yeah.
Seeing if we can find anything out about Randolph Alexis.
Okay, do you know where it is?
Nope. I don't, anyway.
There's not even a Google in this time period. But if we go to a train station, there'll be a flyer, or they'll be there. So we go to a train station and look for people looking at trains.
Yes, there are people who may know about the London Train Spotters Association.
Or surely can't we ring up a phone operator, and can't they connect you? That be that time period? Surely you ring up and you ask, don't you? Be
You know,
connected.
that all those things that they put wires into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely, I think that's the right time period. You still do that. It's literally like
Certainly telephone communications, isn't it?
yeah.
Lots and lots of
Well, I
ideas.
suppose-
I
I
love
mean,
it.
would it be something? Probably not, but something a hotel concierge might be able to help with.
We're staying at a good hotel, aren't we? Well, you
Mm.
guys, I'll live here.
And
I think it's probably.
always.
I think it's likely by now you'd all you'd all moved into the same hotel, if that's okay, just to make things easier.
Yes.
Yeah, you've just left your wife now, Mercy.
Yeah.
That's it.
She's absolutely used to that.
Just told her, I'm off on a jaunt now, darling.
Don't call her darling. I'm not. We're not that close.
Well, you might have been.
Okay, so
The other thing that we could look at as well is seeing if we could find out about Professor Smith's friend, Professor Demir from Constantinople.
Oh,
Because
that would
he
be
was
another Turkish embassy question, maybe.
I would assume so, but if we could find out where he was, because it literally says the bulk of the diary contains a strange affair involving his friend from Constantinople, but it doesn't say where he goes on from there. So maybe tracking him down would be an idea.
Professor Demir. I have, as many of my notes, I have the name written down, but zero explanation of who they are or what their significance was.
okay. Well, I'm loving all these ideas. So, what would you like to do first?
Well, I'd certainly want to go to the Turkish embassy. I don't know if anyone wants to come with me, or if people have got other jobs they want to be doing, or Edward and Nancy still researching.
They would still be researching for the 9th and the 10th. Yes, I kind of messed that up a bit, but that's the current situation. I'll do better about that in the future. But at the moment, they're in the British Library for the next 2 days.
I mean, Maya, could you use your fantastic thievery skills to train Spotters Association? It seems that, sort of thing you would know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy to go along to the embassy with you.
Could you pretend to be a French person of importance rather than not knocking butchers, but like I doubt that'll have much sway in an embassy.
I mean, we could always say that I've carrying on such and such's research. Maybe.
Ah. Could you bluff being a professor from knowing about his work?
Okay, maybe something a little bit less, because I don't think
I know I
he's got
couldn't.
quite the he's an enthusiast, but he's not quite the
No, I was like, because obviously, like I actually am a member of British establishment, so maybe you could be like what I am, but for France, and we'll pretend be someone important.
yeah.
And, now it's not just.
Sorry.
No, you wrote the.
No, I was going to say, why don't we say that I've been sent from the French embassy because of, because of this thing going on with the thing that we're looking for. I don't know.
I don't know if we want to be announcing that we're looking for this thing, this simulacrum. I think that's like, that'll might raise alarms with evil people. I mean, we have to be quite discreet.
Yeah. We'll just go along and ask.
Okay. So you're heading up to the embassy. Maya, what are you doing?
Yep.
I will go see if I can find out where this London Train Spotters Association is.
Okay, where do you think would be the best place to do that?
I'm going to start off by looking at the pamphlets or whatever in the nearest station.
Okay, so we'll say Euston Station. So you head over to so I'm going to start with let's start with Maya actually. So Euston Station, you say you're looking for pamphlets for the London Train Spotters Association. Make me a spot hidden roll.
Yeah. I'm gonna go through. It is. Hang on, let me just bring up my sheet on the computer.
Wow. Hard success. Wow, very good. If you haven't already ticked that off, you can tick that off on your sheet.
I have, yeah. Sadly.
So, describe it to me. Describe to me what Maya does.
Just kind of mingling in the crowd, just trying to find like I suppose it would be a leaflet stand or whatever, advertising local attractions. Which is just kind of flicking through them, trying to find what she's after. Ideally, an address.
You don't really find a leaflet for the London Train Spotters Association. However, you do see, as you're looking at this stand, you do see over near one of the platforms someone who appears to be like looking at a train and like noting things down in a notepad. Engine number, number of carriages, wheel width, that sort of thing.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll go walk over to them, and I'll go introduce myself.
You hear a muttering, number 564C, wheel diameter 2 foot. I haven't seen one of those for a long time. This must be a rare one. Obviously, good model. Sorry. Sorry, are you talking to me?
Yes. I've just taken a very keen interest in what you were doing. To be honest, it seems like you were very engrossed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just an amateur to understand train spotting. Yes, the association does. I do want to like try and be on par with my friends in the association, but I think I've still got a long way to go.
Oh, that's interesting. Can I help you in any way?
Are you an enthusiast yourself, Miss?
Amateur, but
have you seen many rare engines?
I've seen the odd one, but I wouldn't know if they were necessarily rare or not.
He looks
like
at you.
The majestic beauty of them all.
He looks at you. Make me a fast talk.
Right. Now where's my sheet gone? Fast talk. Oh, I'm surprised if this is a success.
Oh. He looks at you like he looks at you, but he gets the impression like you're trying to make yourself appear like, I say, bigger than you are, if that makes sense, like no more. But so everybody's like that in the Train Spotters Association. So he goes, I don't know if are you in the London Train Spotters Association by any chance? I'm sure I would have seen you about if you were.
I'm not, but I'm interested in joining potentially.
Oh well. Arthur Butters is your man. You want to go and see him, and he gives you the address for Arthur Butters, and it's somewhere down towards the south, out past Southwark, Bermondsey, this area. He gives you a card with it says London Train Spotters Association, Arthur Butters, and his address on it.
Okay. And yes, thank you. What might I call you, good sir?
You can call me George. George Carruthers.
George Carruthers.
Actually,
thank you very much, George.
Sorry, I've changed my mind. He's not George Carruthers. He's Walter Partridge. I've just seen something. His name is Walter Partridge, not George Carruthers. That's my mistake.
Walter Partridge.
Walter Partridge, yes. And okay. The minute you turn to leave, he's already forgotten you. He's just back on his engine. Walter Partridge is back on his engine, just writing things down, scribbling things down as much as he can.
Okay.
What is your next move?
I will start moving towards this Arthur Butters' place.
While you're doing that, we're going to switch over to Major Mercy and Roland Billio at the Turkish Embassy. And it's a grand building, very much like in the architecture that would be associated with Turkey. You go inside, it's all like all the various decorations, decor, grand columns. At the far, it's like a massive entrance hall as you go in, and at the far end there's this desk, like in marble, and there's a clerk writing there. And as you walk through, your footsteps echo on the ground, echo on the floor. And when you get close, the clerk looks up and goes, "Yes, can I help you, sirs?" Like kind of like looking down his nose at you.
I mean, I would say, because as I know that I am in uniform.
Yeah.
And I would just sort of say I'm Major Sebastian Mercy. I'm here representing the British government. We have some questions regarding a Turkish national in the city.
I see. And which Turkish national would that be?
A gentleman by the name of Makriat.
And he looks at Yes, sir, you are not the first person to ask these questions today. We have had several police around here and journalists around here all asking about the Makriat murders. Waste of time, if you ask me.
I didn't. I was hoping to speak to someone more senior.
Make me a credit rating roll.
I'm gonna vibe. Credit rating, or just to see how important I look, maybe.
Yeah, how important? Wow. Sorry, was that your other spot hidden coming through, Maya?
Yeah, I think I must have knocked something. Sorry.
If you wish to, you can try and push that. If you want to, when you push a roll, it means you can re-roll it, but the consequences are a bit more severe.
Oh, absolutely. That's a terrible roll.
That's nearly a fumble. It's not quite a fumble. It's nearly a fumble. So, what are you doing in order to push the roll?
I'll draw myself up to my full height and like proper like military posture, try and look as imposing and authoritative as possible.
Okay,
Roland's just stood behind him doing the same.
bring down the full might of the British Empire upon him.
Yes. Yeah.
Make your roll.
Okay.
Yep, that works. He as you like bear down like the full like force of like Her Majesty's government and the British Empire upon him, he starts to shrink under it. He goes, I do apologise, sirs. Nodding to Roland as well. What would you like to know?
Well, obviously, the circumstances surrounding Mr. Makriat are rather mysterious. Seemingly died a number of times. Is he a gentleman who's known to you, or to the embassy?
Mr. Makriat is indeed a Turkish national, and as such, he is known to us. I trust you do not believe the more scurrilous details of what you read in the paper. All that business about the skinned arms and the skinned legs was not. How shall I say this? It was not the appropriate thing to write.
Oh, so this is to you, Jeff, not character. Do you see skinned arms there or something? Because it dropped out for a second for me.
I did. That is exactly what I said. Yes.
Oh, right. And I will look back to my companion and like sort of raise my eyebrows. I think that was a bit of new information. I think.
Yeah, you did not read anything about skin.
Said.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, because you didn't. Was just gonna. Sorry.
Yeah, you read nothing about this in the papers, so. Yeah.
No.
Carry on.
Okay. Roland was gonna sort of whisper back. Well, he said spiritualist. Are we to take it then that this Makriat was a religious man? because if he does deeds like this, it doesn't strike me as that he would do. Be. It's just funny how the bloke at the desk said, like, a spiritualist.
I said a Turkish national, but if you want to ask the question, ask the question.
Did you know if he was a religious man at all?
He was certainly an upstanding. Is certainly an upstanding citizen. Maybe there is some. One would say there's a spirituality about him, but he has never made a. He doesn't make an obvious show of it. If you take my meaning.
And forgive me, obviously the reports of this gentleman's death, it seemed 3 people had his papers. How is such a thing possible? Presumably these papers were gotten through the embassy, or at least his original correct papers were. The forgeries could be, have any number of explanations.
These forgeries, you mean the forgeries on the dead bodies? Yes, they were terrible forgeries. That not they were all identified as Makriat, but that's not Mehmet Makriat, that's Reno. Mehmet Makriat is a fine, upstanding citizen. He would never do anything like that.
Were these?
I was going to say, can I ask a really simple question?
Mm-hmm.
What does Makriat actually look like? Because, I'm going to ask this bloke. It says in the handout that they were all identified as Makriat. So somebody's got to be passed on information of what he looks like. We actually physically know what he looks like.
He looks a bit sheepish when you say this, actually.
Or doesn't he even know?
He just clams up shut. Make me. Are you going to? He clams up. He's not as forthcoming now as he was before. He closes in a bit. If you want to try and draw him out, you might have to make a roll. Make me a charm roll, please, Roland.
Yeah.
And because you try and yeah.
No, I just find it that because if on the handout it says 3 bodies were identified by people as him, so it must mean that three people or different people or one person has looked at them and gone, that's what he looks like. So yes, that's him. Sorry, what is it? Charm.
Charm, yes.
Yeah, where is it underneath?
It'll be on the left somewhere.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, alphabetical, isn't it?
Would you like to spend luck? Just say if you want to spend luck to adjust those rolls, you don't have to ask me. You can say you want to spend luck. So if you want to spend a couple of luck points to turn that into a 45.
Yeah.
So reduce your luck by 2. You can do that from your character token. Reduce your luck by 2. It's the one on the left. Luck.
Sorry.
Yep. All right.
All that.
Yep. Well, the sheets could be better if I'm honest, but yeah, they're doing
the one
a job.
on
They're
the
doing
left, you say?
Yeah,
the red one.
The red one, yeah. So
there we go.
Yeah. So he looks at you and he sees that you're both well-meaning people, and he says, "Well, truth be told, sirs, we don't have any photographs of Makriat. They've gone missing. They've all disappeared."
That seems like terrible record keeping.
Yes.
Suspicious.
Also makes me think that maybe somebody's taken the pictures. Or could the person that's taken the pictures be the one that reported that each body was Makriat?
I might as well tell you, each person was identified. Each person was identical, and their passport, they had come into the country by the embassy with passports identifying them as Mehmet Makriat.
So the 3 victims were identical?
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned something about skinned arms and skinned legs.
He takes a deep breath and... Yes, sir. It was reported that the bodies had been mutilated. One body had a skinned torso, one had skinned arms, and one had skinned legs. Not the sort of thing we want to associate with our fine citizens, I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, and that's accurate. That's not just tabloid gossip.
No, sir. This was information that was that the police supplied to us in an effort to understand more of what's happening. I assume that such scurrilous details would no doubt make their way into the press.
Very interesting. And you have no idea the whereabouts of the real Mr. Macriot?
I believe he has a shop over in Islington.
We have already made inquiries there.
Well, in that case, obviously Turkish citizens, our citizens are free to come and go as they please.
No, of course. I just wondered if you know, if people talk, rumors and whatnot.
So there was one other strange thing that you might as well know. The 3 bodies identified as Macrats, none of them seem, from the descriptions we know, the Macrat who owns the shop was an older man, and none of the 3 bodies seem to match his description.
But they were identical, but not matching Macriat's description.
That is what we were led to understand from the police.
I'm going to sort of have a sidebar with my colleague. Do you have any more questions? Oh, we had to ask about that professor, didn't we? The professor from Constantinople, Professor Demir. But do you have anything else you want to ask about this?
No, I don't think so. I'm just trying to keep in my head what's been said.
Yes, a lot of revelations. So we'll turn back to this helpful gentleman. On a slightly related matter, I can't go into too many details. We've also a name of interest, Professor Demir, I believe from Constantinople,
Professor
a scholar of some.
Demir. The name sounds familiar. One moment, sir. And he leaves in a side door, leaving you alone for a few moments. You hear rustling of papers, and he comes back and goes, Demir, yes, there was a Professor Demir. He was a scholar of some renown in Constantinople. He disappeared some years ago. Apparently there's some incident which we don't really have records of around 1890, 95 maybe, but shortly after that, he and his family seemed to drop off from our records.
Was that in Constantinople, do you know, or was that here in England?
The last record we have of him was in Constantinople, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nodding to Roland.
Is that everything we have, Roland? Any more want to ask?
Not from my end. I mean,
I think that's everything. I'll turn back to the gentleman and say, and what was your name, sir?
I have a name for him. My name is Mustafa Koprulu.
You've been very helpful, sir. And I met your Mr. Ataturk at the end of the Great War. Very interesting gentleman. If I meet him again, I'll put in a good word.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure that'll be much appreciated. and he's like, obviously, like, please leave, that sort of thing. Very uncomfortable talking about this. Please leave.
And I'm happy to leave, and think. I mean, I've got an idea of what we might want to do next, but we might need to discuss with our rest of our party.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say it's now late morning, like early afternoonish. So, is there anything you two would like to do for the day before I go back over to Maya?
Is that to us?
Yes, to Roland and Sebastian. Is there anything else you would like to do?
I suppose what might be helpful is, like, I've sort of spoken to the Turkish embassy, but there must be like a government department that would handle immigration, or people coming to work in England who are foreigners. Maybe inquire there about Makriat and see if they have any records or papers on him. But if you want to go to somebody else first, that it's fine.
I mean, I can't think of anything. The only other thing I can think of is maybe searching if there was any like records of his shop opening, so therefore any pictures of him.
Oh.
Whereas my thought was, if it's an established shop and they said it was an elder, then there's got to be a younger.
The two things I was thinking of from that were, we should try and see these bodies if we can. And what was I going to say? Yeah, if he's an antiques dealer, like, I'm trying to think, like, could he have been dealing with some of these bits of the simulacrum? And again, try and find out, like, if there's records of stuff that's like not his records, but like customs. If he's like been shipping stuff in and out.
My thought was with the 3 bodies as well was maybe would he have paid 3 other people to go and maybe collect this antique?
I mean, yeah, but how do you find 3 people who are identical?
Yeah.
All willing to be involved in this scheme?
Well, 3 triplets.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you might be triplets, but are you all like saying, "Oh yeah, we'll all impersonate this one guy"?
Related to him.
Well, yeah, like
said an elder. There's got to be a younger. Could be 3 youngers.
Well, as I said, I think we should try and see these bodies, but
yeah, no, see the bodies, but yeah, that was my thoughts.
Yeah,
that was only.
So, where would you like to go next? Set up for
that. Should we try and see the bodies? That sounds like a fun outing.
Surely we'd be able to contact like the police coroners or something like that.
The name of the police officer is listed.
Yeah.
No, it's not that one.
There was one at the scene, wasn't there?
I think the one is Inspector.
Inspector Fleming was the one who was in charge of it.
Have we spoken to him already?
No, we spoke to Rigby, who was the one in charge of Smith's arson.
Oh, all right. I think maybe cut out this Fleming guy and go straight to the coroner if we can, because I can just see people say no, but we might be able to like bully or bribe or whatever the coroner.
Going to say, or even say that we know the victims.
That's good.
We identify them.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So, should we try and find like should we go to the what would be like the local coroners to where it happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so just find you a spot for that.
You could have just investigating stuff, Roland. I gotta say.
Sorry.
So you come up with some good ideas.
The hotel where
I mean-
where the bodies were found is down here in Chelsea, so there's probably a police station by there.
Mm.
It'll probably take you about an hour or so to get down there. So there, Maya, you're heading towards the address of Arthur Butters, towards the south, if I remember rightly. Takes you quite a bit of the afternoon. It's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock by the time you get there, and it's just from what you can see, it's just like a normal house, normal semi-detached house. Probably a train set in the garden, but other than that, nothing really remarkable about it.
Can I see anyone inside?
Spot hidden, please.
Where's the sheet gone? Spot hidden.
Want to, like I said, if you want to use luck, you're always free to use luck, or you can push if you want to try and push.
I'll try and push it.
Okay, what are you doing to push it? This is like a cursory glance at the windows. You haven't seen anything, so how are you going to push that?
Yeah, okay, I'm not going to push it. I'm just going to walk up to the door and knock.
Okay. Knock at the door. A few moments, and the door opens, and there's a rather portly man standing behind it. Hello, yes. What can I do for you? I wasn't expecting any visitors today. You're not with the association, are you?
Hello. Are you Mr. Butters?
I am. And he starts mopping. Starts mopping his forehead. I am. Yes, Arthur Butters, president of the London Train Spotters Association, at your service.
Yes. I am. May I have that? I have a couple of things that might be of interest to you. Regarding some things that were purchased recently. I found out your address from Walter Partridge.
Oh, Walter, of course, yes. Walter is a regular member. He does probably the most knowledgeable of trains among us. If you know him, then you must be a enthusiast yourself. Yes. How can I help you exactly?
Yes. Well, I found out recently about a train that was bought from Acreat as antiques. It was bought by where's he gone? Henry Stanley.
Yes, a very sad affair. Mr. Stanley was quiet, but we all liked him. He's been a member of the association for a very long time.
Okay. So you obviously know what happened then, didn't?
Yes, that train set.
Yes.
The police did wonder if the train set had gone wrong, sparked a fire. They brought it to me, but I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It's unusual piece. I ran it for a second or two just to satisfy them, but they left it in my care to examine. Actually, between you and me, it's a very detailed, it's a very beautifully done set, but it is rather in poor taste. You remember that incident about the train that derailed on the way to Liverpool? Cost hundreds of lives.
Would I have read that?
I think it came up last time, didn't it? About weird incidents with trains.
Yeah, the one that just vanished.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Sorry, that's my memory failing.
Yeah. Yes. Maya would have remembered that the lecture about the train that disappeared.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I heard about that just the other day, actually.
It's the train that was on the train set was made up to look like that train. It's in very poor taste.
Do you mind if I have a look at this train set?
Make me a credit rating roll.
What the heck is that? Sorry, I'm really not used to the credit rating.
Credit rating, yes. That's on the left hand column, about halfway down.
Got it.
Oh.
I'll let you spend luck on that if you want to.
Yes, I think I might spend luck on that one.
16 points of luck to make that into a success.
So I need to make how many? Sorry,
16.
16. It's the little red circle, isn't it?
Yep.
So that's 54.
16, 44.
Yes, 44. Sorry.
Yep. He takes you downstairs to his cellar where the set is against the wall, and as you look at it, it's probably about 3 foot by 3 foot. It's a very heavy set piece of hardwood, and it's on the surface. There are rails going around in what one could generously call a figure of 8, but it's twisted and loops around in unusual ways. There's no foliage, no scenery on it. It's just the rails. You also see that they do go up and down ramps at certain points, again, seemingly haphazardly, but there's no denying the workmanship of it. The train is set on a desk at one side, obviously detachable from the rails. It's set at one side with 2 carriages, and in one corner of the board there is a large battery with a switch. It looks too big for one person to carry, but Arthur Butters does say to you, here's the train set. If you're able to move it, or if you have some friends to help you to move it, I'll be willing to let you borrow it for a few days. The police aren't expecting it back for another week or so. Maybe you can find something out that we have missed.
Do you mind if I have a little bit of a tinker with it right here and now as well?
Of course, that'd be absolutely fine. Just let me know when you're finished, and I'll be upstairs. And he leaves you alone with the train set.
Okay. So I'm going to start hooking it all up together.
Okay.
And I'm going to try running it.
Okay. You switch it on and the train starts to go around.
Okay. Am I spotting anything unusual with it?
It completes one circuit. Nothing that you can see. Do you stop it or do you let it go? Do you let it carry on?
I'm going to let it go for a little while.
It's very difficult to keep track of how many circuits it's done because the track is so winding, goes up and down, very winding. But you start to count, but you think about the 12th or the 13th time. The room starts to shake.
Okay.
And you hear a deeper sounding voice.
Sorry?
Like a deeper rumbling.
Can I notice anything different about the train?
The train's still going. The train's still going, but now the room is beginning to fill with steam.
I'm going to turn it off.
You turn it off. Stops.
And
carries on.
Sorry.
The
carries on.
Carries on. Yes. And now there's a whistle. You hear a whistle from the distance.
I'm going to pick up the model train.
Yep.
As it's moving.
Yep.
Anything happen?
Nothing more than that. What's already happening? The rumblings, start to slow down, and you look as a locomotive, ghostly locomotive, comes through the wall in front of you.
I want to try and dodge out the way of it.
It's a ghostly. It's just going through the wall, but it's just you can see the parts of the cellar behind it, all the ladders and things behind it. It goes through the wall, and there's steam coming from it. First the locomotive, the first carriage, and then it stopped. You've just seen it in the room. You've just seen a ghostly locomotive come through the room and stop. I need you to make a sanity roll.
Eight.
Take 6 points of sanity damage.
What one's that? The blue?
That's the blue. And you've taken 6 points of sanity damage. I need you to make an intelligence roll.
Just straight intelligence.
Just straight intelligence. You have just seen a train come through the wall. You look to the left, look to the right, and where the train is, you don't see the wall. You see the rest of the train, your mind can't cope with this, and your mind snaps. I'd stop dropping these dice for a moment. See, Maya, have that. Maya, have that. You pass out.
Right. Okay.
You have been driven temporarily insane by what you've just seen, and you pass out.
Okay.
However, because you have seen this unnatural thing, you gain 5 points in your Cthulhu mythos. And the last thing you see before you pass out, you see ghostly figures come off the train and start moving towards you.
Okay.
And now we're going to go back to Major Sebastian and Ronan Billiot.
That's what we're going to see of her, I think. So yeah, we were going to go to the coroner's at the. Is it at the police station?
It'll be at the report should be at the police station. Yeah.
The report. I mean, is it
The
possible
coroner-
to see the actual?
Are you, how are you going to convince the duty sergeant to let you see it? Are you going to bring the might of the British Empire down on him again?
Oh, always. It's the only thing I've got.
Okay. Credit rating.
I am very rich.
Hard success. Oh yes, sir. The bodies are right this way. Do you need someone to be with you?
Is the coroner or a doctor on hand that could be helpful?
The duty doctor, the local doctor did the autopsy. He can be here in a few minutes.
If you could fetch him, that would be fantastic, Constable.
Of course, and he goes off to make a phone call, and you are in the room with the 3 bodies. As you see, the descriptions are correct. They do appear to be identical. They've obviously been autopsied, so there are a few incisions around their bodies, and you do see one has a skinned torso, one has skinned arms, one has skinned legs.
Now, what could you make the skin of a whole person, apart from the face, sound like from these 3 people?
I believe you could, yes.
Oh, that's creepy. I will make this point to Roland. And obviously, they're a butcher, so they may have some, not medical knowledge, but they know about cutting stuff, animals up, not
Oh
people.
yeah, that's the whole idea. I know how to skin an animal.
And in your professional opinion, Roland, was this done by someone who knew what they were doing, or was it just some bad person hacking away at people?
Would I know? Would I have to roll or?
Let's see, what would be an appropriate skill for this? Make me, the closest thing I can find here, make me a skill with your cleaver. Because you know what butchery is, you know how to use it. You know how to use this thing to butcher meat. Make me a roll with your cleaver skill.
So how do I do that? Is it under?
It's under fighting, bottom left.
Right, fighting. Yep, I see it.
Ooh. Dice are not with you tonight, really.
Oh.
Yeah, from that, you think you might be able to see how it's done or recognize some of the signs, but this is way beyond anything you've.
Yeah, this is far beyond sort of animal skinning.
And I think the sight of it, Ronan, is going to have to ask you for a sanity roll as well, because you've seen this done. You've not seen this done to humans before, and major mercy as well, please, because you've never seen anything like this, even in the war. You've never seen it.
So sanity.
Yep.
Lovely.
No problem. Oh dear.
Take 1 point of
dear.
damage. You can take 1 point of damage, Major Mercy, sanity damage, and Roland. I failed. 4 points of damage for Roland.
Points. Okay. Where is my icon? There it is. And what is the sanity? Is it on the right?
On the right,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
So it like makes you like you feel queasy at this, like nauseous stench just like fills it. But after a few moments, the doctor does come and goes, "Oh, you're the people that the sergeant told me about. Well, what can I do for you? I've got patients waiting."
Yes, Doctor. My name is Major Sebastian Mercy. This is my colleague representing France. I don't know why I said that. Could you tell me more about what happened here, the cause of death, and any unusual signs or markings?
Well, these 3 bodies were brought to us as you see them. They were all seemed to have been stabbed quite expertly with an unusual knife, and the skinning that you see was done post-mortem. But something strange about them. Look at this, and he like points you to like one of them where he's made like some deep incisions, for an autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
Look here. Look at this. And he points to something, and he can't quite make out what it is, obviously, because this is not your area of expertise. He says,
"Yeah,
it's almost as though the tissues have been twisted, almost as if the skin's been twisted. Like the skin wasn't like this originally, but it's been taut, tightened, twisted around. No means I can see. This shouldn't be possible, not even for a living person. It would cause immense pain, even for a living person. It shouldn't be possible, but that's what these people seem to have been while they were alive."
Now, these 3 gentlemen seem to have a very similar appearance.
Yes.
Could you say if they were related, or did they appear to be triplets or anything like that?
Looking at these strange features of the tissues, the twisting and the tissues, it is my belief that these are 3 unrelated individuals who were made to look like this.
I see. Oh,
Like going through a train? Getting caught in a train.
Sorry?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
It's meant twisted up, like maybe they've been underneath a train, like
No.
caught on a train track or something.
I have seen people being run over by trains. This is nothing like that. This is nothing natural that I've seen.
so someone has went to some effort to make these men look the way they are.
That is my understanding, sir.
Yes, well, this seems a very mysterious matter. Were there any odd symbols or signs or writing or anything like that on the body? Any sort of ritual murder type signs? Obviously, the skinning. Hello?
Nothing. Sorry, I'm here.
Sorry?
Nothing that stands out to me. There appears to have been obviously the skinning itself may have been ritually done, but apart from that, don't believe nothing, no identifiable symbols or anything that I can see here.
And did the men have a similar time of death?
They all perished within a couple of hours of each other.
And Doctor, the question arises: if these men were made to look like this, these 3 individuals could be anyone. That they just 3 random people off the street who are made to look like this. So potentially, there's 3 people missing. who now have been murdered and made to look this way. Quite a sinister.
That was my first thought as well, sir. But and he beckons you over to a desk where there's like their papers all around, and he shows you 3 passports, and all the passports bear the name Mehmet Makriat. And when you look through them, they all appear completely legitimate. You see, like, entry stamps for various countries, entry stamps for England the last few weeks. These people travel around like this.
Is there? I know it's tough, but is there a picture in the, like a photograph in the passport? I'm not sure how passports work.
There would have been a photo. There is a photo. There would have been a photograph, yes, and the photograph matches the 3 identical faces that you see on the table.
Did these? This is to the keeper. Did they look real? These, like, would they pass as, like? I suppose you have to be stamped. They must look real.
They look perfectly real. They like I say, they've been stamped. They've been validated. For all intents and purposes, they are real passports.
I sort of turn the roll and I say, these look very legitimate, as if it was perhaps the Turkish authorities who issued them.
No, I see what you mean there. With the photo being edited afterwards at all? Because if somebody has done it, and they've taken a copy of Makriat's face, and they've planted these 3 people, as I take it, they didn't. Did they arrive at? Do we know if they arrived at the hotel, like checked in? Or were they just found?
I'm going to say the sergeant is there as well, and he's able to say, yes, the clerk at the hotel was able to positively identify these 3 men. Well, he obviously didn't know there were 3 men at the time, but he was able to identify them as checking into the hotel. Apparently they have been here several times previously, on business, antique business, I believe.
And Sergeant, have you been to Mr. Makriat's shop? The real Mr. Makriat?
That is outside my area of jurisdiction, I'm afraid, sir. Though I understand that members of the constabulary in that area have been to the shop and found nothing untoward.
You mentioned, Doctor, that it was an unusual murder weapon. Could you give me any more details on that?
Some sort of curved blade, I believe. Sort of thing that you would see out towards the east.
Would it be some? Because don't the Turkish have a certain knife, a certain style of military, have a certain style of sword or knife? I seem to remember.
It's not for me to draw conclusions, sir, but that would be consistent with these injuries, yes.
Well, this just raises a lot of questions.
Will there be anything else? I do have patients to get back to.
First question, Doctor. Did these men have any scars on them, or signs of operations, or dental work, things that would suggest, like individual differences, like a person, if they had an injury and had a scar on their leg, anything like that?
That's what beats me. There was no sign of any surgery or scarring. Whatever made these faces like this, it wasn't done with surgery.
But even before that, say, like, as a child, they had an accident, and, we've all got picked up scars and injuries over the years. Or, have had the appendix removed or anything like that.
Found nothing, sir. These 3 bodies are in perfect condition.
Roland, is there anything more you want to ask?
No, not that I can think of.
I really want to steal one of these passports, but I don't. I think that's a bad idea in a police station.
Mhm.
Sergeant, would it be possible for me to borrow one of these passports?
I think that should be okay, sir. You get to fill out this form. As long as we get it back within a reasonable amount of time, there shouldn't be any problem with that.
I like filling out forms.
Mhm.
So I will fill that out. Okay. Now in possession of the passport, I'm assuming.
Yep.
I think we're done here, Roland. Is there anything more you want to check or?
No. No, I can't think of anything. Can't think of any more leads.
Oh, I thought of one thing. Their personal possessions that they had on them, clothes, a wallet, any was that? I'm assuming that's been kept.
Yes, sir. We do have that. Our evidence room.
Would I be able to see it, or could you tell me if there's anything of note?
I can let you see them, sir. He goes and brings out a tray, and it just seems like normal things, watch, wallet, few receipts for trading, that sort of thing.
For trading?
Antiques? Yeah, antiques yes. Trading.
Does it have any more details?
Not really. Not that you can see.
I was hoping it would say, evil artifact, £20.
Mm-hmm. Although that did just bring me to an idea. Would it be worth seeing what if we could get hold of what was the last purchase from the antique shop? That would surely be the last person to have seen Baccarat.
You do know that information, actually. That was the train set.
Oh, yeah, that one. I mean, any others? Would have been the other. We could get hold of any other purchases.
I think you could see that. That's the only one that's the only one that stuck out as unusual. Everything else.
That was okay. Oh, fair enough.
I'm very quickly gonna look in. There's presumably 3 sets of items.
Yes.
Is it all the same?
Pretty much.
It's like the same clothes and same wallet. Is it the same items in the wallet?
Money, ID, cards. Yep. Cards for the Baccarat's antique shop, yeah.
Surely, and this is going back to the hotel idea, surely if they've checked into the hotel all on the same day, it would have been the same person checking them in? Would it have been various different people?
Well, I imagine only one of them would have actually checked in. Like, one would check in.
That's what I mean. Like, one of them's got to have checked in, but would all 3 have checked in at various points in the day? Because it was 3 different rooms. So therefore, it would have had to
yes, of course. Oh, that's
3 different times.
We might have to
get 3 different.
We're kind of busy day to day.
Yeah.
Trips around London. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to try for the hotel today, or getting later? It's probably getting a bit late now in the day.
Yes.
So we'll try for tomorrow.
I mean, so out of character, I don't want to monopolize the session with all our
No. Yeah.
poking at dead bodies and then beating up hotel clerks or something, Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're better off having a rest and waiting to report back to the others.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the evening of the 9th, Major Mercy and Roland return back to the hotel, Claridge's hotel, we'll say. Nancy and Edward also return from their day's researches, showing what you found. I believe this is the day, Nancy, you found out about the Topkapi Museum, where this Tedesca scrolls were being held. But Maya doesn't show up. at all.
This
Does
is
anybody know what her plans were?
Oh.
I'm assuming she would have at least told us she was going to try and find.
Yeah, I would have said that I was going off to
Yeah.
investigate.
Yeah, obviously, we don't know the connection to Arthur Butters, but yeah. Do you think she's been brutally murdered by train spotters? They're an odd bunch. We should probably look into her. You know what happened to her. Ask at the train station.
Or
I
maybe
think
she'll
we do that tomorrow. But if she's actually
maybe you don't know that she's missing at the moment. She just hasn't turned up. That's all.
Yeah, true. Yes. She does seem an unreliable sort. So,
Maya,
Mhm.
you slowly start to regain consciousness. You feel yourself lying against something hard, and you feel the floor beneath you rumbling. You open your eyes. You're on a train. You're in a train compartment, and standing over you, there's a man with wild eyes and wild hair. Finally awake, are you?
Where am I? Who are you?
My name is Randolph Alexis, and this is the London to Liverpool, 11:30 London to Liverpool. But we appear to be running behind time a bit.
How did I get here?
You summoned the train. You must have summoned the train, and the you were very lucky. I was there. The other passengers were going to well, never mind what they were going to do, but I was able to drag you out of there in time, and now you're safe in here with me.
Am I looking injured at all, or
Not particularly.
picking myself up?
You do appear to be wearing different clothes than what you were when you fainted. You appear to be wearing a Victorian style dress. And it is also worth saying that as you recover from your fainting, the memory of the train is still in the back of your mind. It's like a crack in your mind. Your mind is like still holding on, but just barely. So
I asked, is this a ghost train that he's talking about?
You could ask him.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yep. Maybe I should. With ghost train, maybe it's certainly. We're certainly no longer in the physical realm. That is that much I do know. Yes. I wouldn't look out the window if I were you.
Explain something to me. There was an antique, little train set. I was messing on with that. That's kind of the last thing I remember.
Yes, I believe that was my.
Came up.
I believe that was my my son's train set. Yes, he used it as well, and he also found his way here.
Are you okay? You seem to be laughing a lot.
No, I'm fine. No, no, I'm absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with me.
Is there an equivalent of an insight check that I can do here?
Yes. Psychology. Do you want to accept that, or do you want to change that?
Yeah, I'm gonna use some more luck on that.
Okay.
That's 9 luck, isn't it?
Well, It doesn't take very much to look at it. It doesn't take very much to look at him, to look at his eyes. This man is not sane.
I'm just like, oh, okay. Just... Does he appear to have any weapons on him or anything?
Nothing obvious that you can see.
Okay. Well, I pull myself up and I kind of ask, so, London to Liverpool, eh?
Yes, but as you can see, and he waves out the window, we're somewhere else. Don't look out the window.
You're telling me not to look out the window.
Yes, I wouldn't look out the window. I wouldn't look out the window if I were you. No, just you might not like what you see.
You've got my curiosity perk. I look out the window.
Yeah.
So you are no longer. You're not travelling on any rails, In fact, you're travelling through a grey void. And as you look out the window, you can see like images of the train following behind it. I'm going to ask you to take off 3 magic points. You're going to have to edit your sheet to do this. You feel something drained from you. You lose 3 magic points.
3 magic points?
Yes.
Where is
that kind of like represents your willpower. That's at the top neck, just above your. That's above your hit points, I believe, or around the area at the top of the sheet.
Hit points, magic points.
Yes.
Off my full magic points, or just off the magic points?
Just off the magic points. Just 3 magic points off your current magic points. And as you look out and you see you're in this grey void, just like images of the train all over the place, like forming a continuous line to where you are. You feel your mind go again.
Okay.
3 points of sanity.
Uh-huh.
And you go. You suddenly you can't see all of a sudden. Your brain just like.
Okay.
Your brain just like shuts. Your brain just like shuts down. You can't see anymore.
If I can, I'm gonna pull away from the window and say, "Yeah, okay. Don't look out the window."
And you hear a voice from somebody else in the room. He goes, "Oh, yeah. No, you shouldn't. I suppose you made the same mistake I did. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Henry Stanley."
Henry Stanley. I was looking for what happened to you.
I imagine you found what's happened to me. Yes.
I believe I might have.
Make me a listen roll.
A listen rule.
Yep.
Where the heck's my listen gone? There we are.
You think you hear faint pounding coming from further up the carriage.
Okay.
It's like pounding on a door.
What's that pounding?
That's just the the other passengers trying to get in. Don't worry. They can't get in here. We're safe in here.
So these other passengers.
Yes, they were my fellow passengers on the London to Liverpool. They did not survive the trip.
Happened exactly?
Well, we were on this train going from London to Liverpool, and I've been doing some research into certain spells to transport one from one place to another. And
or is this Randolph or Henry?
This is Randolph. Yeah, this is Randolph Alexis speaking. Yeah. And yes. I thought I did the right ritual correctly. I was hoping to step through a door and be at my home, but something went wrong and the entire front half of the train came here, and that's the last I know. as far as I can tell, is it 1911 the current year? I know it was 1897 when I started.
It's 1912, isn't it?
1923.
23. No, it's 1923, I'm afraid.
Well, time here seems to run differently here.
I start backing away a bit nervously.
Okay. Let's go back. Sorry, yep.
Yeah.
I say let's go back to the others. Morning of the 10th. This is the day that Nancy and Edward will find their unwelcome surprise in the British Museum. Maya Havdat has not turned up. Newspapers are full of stories about German reparations. Is it Yankees? What are the Yankees doing? What are they? German reparations. The American troops, the Yankees withdrawing from East Germany. Demonstrations in Parliament Square. Nothing. No disappearance. Nothing. No more disappearances. What would Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, would we meet for breakfast?
Yes.
Just to sort of say, like, if anyone has seen.
Yeah, before we meet for breakfast. Yep.
Anyone had any word for Maya?
No. No word at all.
I'll ask one of the hotel staff just to see if they know of her, if she came in or if she's been in the hotel since yesterday.
Oh, your friend Miss Havdat. No, we haven't seen her at all. I imagine she stayed out last night. It must have been a party somewhere. You know what these ladies are like.
I beg your pardon, sir. Not talk that way about a lady.
Of course, sir. Forgive me.
Really gone downhill, this place. I mean, should we be concerned? I mean, people are dying, disappearing.
Well, especially with this, if they found this mysterious train set or made contact with someone who may be involved in sinister things.
I mean, I hate to bring this up, but she does seem to be something of a disreputable type of person. Could she have simply left?
Her possession's still in her room, do you know? Speaking to a member of staff.
Oh, her room. As far as you know, everything's there. Suitcase is still there. All her toiletries are still there. She's still checked in here. She's still staying here, as far as we know.
I think we need to find her. I'm concerned.
Concur.
She was trying to find this train spotters club, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Who was it who suggested like speaking to the concierge? Was it Nancy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
I asked the concierge, have you I'm afraid this will be a rather unusual request. Have you heard anything of the London Train Spotters Association or where we would be able to contact them?
Only what I've seen in the paper, miss. I couldn't tell you where they were, where they meet.
Do you have any ideas of where we could find this information?
Local police may know. They seem to know everything. They were involved in the original case. They may know where the London Train Spotters Association is if they were brought in to help.
You know, in my day, concierge at the Claridge would have found this information themselves by now. You know,
I don't get paid enough for that, sir.
Take more pride in your work. So, should we go and sort of retrace her steps, or do we want to just go and try to speak to the police and find where? Presumably, they'll point us towards this offer butters eventually.
Just to remind you, because I'm kind of messed up last time, Nancy and Edward will be at the library today.
They have to do, yes. Well,
this all sounds terribly interesting, but I had a lovely day in the library. I cannot pass up such a chance again to see there.
That was entirely my fault. Sorry, I didn't expect it to go like this quickly.
These things happen. Roland, will you come with me to try and track down Miss Hafdat?
Sure. You need the muscle. At least, if anything, I look intimidating.
Yeah, I look a bit sickly. I'm not picture of health or anything. So, yeah, certainly we could. I keep meaning to tell if anyone like August wasn't going to see it. You know what they call this person the butcher, right? You're some sort of maniac.
Whatever butcher is in French.
Yeah. So I suppose we can either go to the police or we could go to the station and basically do what Maya did.
There is another option.
Ooh.
There's someone else you haven't spoken to yet.
Embassy.
I'll give you this one for free, but I would normally ask for an idea roll for this. Look at the story about the disappearance. I think it's handout 6.
Handout 6.
London handout 6.
Yes, man disappears in cloud of smoke. Mr. Stan.
Somebody there you haven't spoken to.
Spoke to the landlady. That's what Maya did.
No, she didn't.
She didn't speak to her, did she? No. She snuck in and tried to rob her or something. Yeah, we could go and speak to her.
Yeah.
So yes, we'll toddle off to her residence.
Okay. So arrange on the maps. So you're back at the library and you need to go up north. And again, it's a terraced house, front garden. There's a sign outside, chalkboard. See the death room, 6pence.
We'll knock on the door.
Door opens a crack, and you see this rather formidable-looking woman in hair curlers and a dressing gown. She looks you up and goes, "Yes, what do you want? Have you come to see the death room? It'll be 6pence."
I'm quite happy to pay the 6pence, Mrs. Atkins, for the minute for your time. We're investigating Mr. Stanley's death, and we're trying to get in touch with his Train Spotters Association.
And when you say that, her demeanor changes, and she becomes like, "Oh yes, ever so strange it was. Oh yes, I know the association. They're all a bit of odd. They're all a bit odd. Some of them come around here sometimes. Yes, my husband was just like that, mad about trains. Him with a train set at his age, and she just like starts going on and on and on like this."
Sorry, Mrs. Atkins, we are investigating also a missing person in relation to this, so time is of the essence.
Oh, yes, of course. I don't know what more I can tell you, though. The police have been round here, yep. I can tell you what I told them.
Would you know where to find this Train Spotters Association?
Oh, I should have the address right here. And she just like she's letting you inside by now. She just like starts rummaging around. I know he's got the address around here somewhere. He's left his cards around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. That'll be another 6pence, please.
Of course. Your husband was a train spotter as well.
Oh, yeah, my husband was a avid train spotter. He was great friends with Mr. Stanley. Yes.
And what was his name? If you don't mind me asking.
His name was Arthur Atkins.
Arthur Atkins. And I hate to many people, it seems to say, has Mr. Atkins passed on?
Oh yes, it was a heart attack. He died in his sleep some years ago. Terrible loss. But I do all right for myself. Having another man around the house certainly helped with the company. Well, it did until he disappeared. You wouldn't be looking for a room yourself, would you, either of you? I've got a room to let. Well, I have now got a room to let.
We're travelling on very soon after this. It wouldn't be worth it.
Oh, of course. I should have known. You're train spotters yourselves. Of course. I should have spotted it. I can smell you all a mile away. Yes, of course.
Thanks.
I feel there's something here about a husband that we're missing. But we've got the information, so I suppose we will hurry on to see to the train spotters. Unless Roland, you've been on fire with your investigation skills today.
I mean, did you? I can't think. What's his name? Stanley, is it? Who's
Henry Stanley.
busted? He's Stanley. I mean, did he know your husband before he started living here, or did he?
Oh, of course.
Or did he rent his room and then become sort of, they shared this interest?
Oh, no. They met through the association, of course. That's how Henry Stanley came to know my husband.
Did he live here when your husband was still alive?
Oh, no. He came. He moved in after my husband passed away. I had a room going. He needed a place to stay. He needed, and it's just a mutual benefit for both of us.
Also whisper to Roland, scandal here, I'm sure, if nothing else.
Sorry.
Well, it feels a bit scandalous.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. A young man moving in with an old woman after her husband's passed away sounds a bit.
Are you saying this out loud to each other that she can hear?
Well,
No.
We're having a sidebar, like a unless she's got exceptional hearing, I think.
I'm making this a roll for her. Hang on a minute. No, wait.
Well, I think we should file that information away and maybe bother that doctor again, see if he can find out what happened to this guy. It just seems, I'm wondering now if there's some sort of suspicious thing going on here where, like, did she murder her husband?
I gotta say, she seems pretty relaxed considering somebody combusted in her home. Plus, she's also selling like tours of a room in her house, letting people in. She's also very unwary of us.
Oh, would you like to see the room, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're
let's
here,
go and see the room.
Of course, it's right this way. It leads you up the stairs, and I think I described this last time. It's to describe again. It's like a standard room. It's bed, desk. Everywhere you see, there's like train paraphernalia, memorabilia, books everywhere, model trains, a couple of maybe the odd cap here and there. But again, you do see that everything has still got a layer of soot on it, and there are the two parallel marks on the ground that resemble train tracks. Here it is, just as it was when he disappeared. Yep, I haven't been in it. I haven't dusted anything ever since. Rob, take a good look. Get your sixpence worth.
Were you in the building when this happened?
Oh yes, I was. Yes, I tell you how it was. Yes, I remember that night like it was yesterday. See, Mr. Stanley, he came home at 4:00. He always comes home at 4:00 for his tea. But he'd managed. He was really happy. He was in high spirits. He'd managed to purchase a new railway set, and it was going to be delivered. He there were two men with him bringing it in, and he went upstairs. They took it to his room. That was about 7:00 when he went up, and that was the last I saw of him. Next thing I know, I hear a loud bang, and there's steam coming down the stairs, and I don't know what to think. I go up there, and he's gone. And the room was full of smoke.
Train set?
Train set was still there until the police came to take it away. They took it to that fella, Arthur Butters, at the association. I'm just glad to see the back of it myself.
And this is an odd question. The people who delivered the train, who were they?
Oh, foreign types, you know. Apparently, they worked for the antique shop where he got it from. I'll be honest, they all look alike to me, so I couldn't tell you what they look. I couldn't tell you who they were really.
Did they look exceptionally alike?
Don't we have the passport we could show her?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, we can show her the picture and the passport.
Yes. Oh,
well, my eyesight ain't what it was, you know, sir. But yeah, I'd say that could be one of them. I say they do all look alike to me, so I maybe my eyes are not what they once were, but yeah, that could very well be one of them, or the other one, even.
And don't suppose they left the card or anything like that?
Oh no, sir. Only the receipts. It was a Mr. Macrat, Mr. Macrat. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Funny name. One of them foreign names, you know, Macrat.
I believe he's Turkish.
That was it. Yes, I knew it was something like that. But they're all the same from out there, aren't they?
No, but that's a bigger conversation.
Good on 19 punches.
Yeah. I mean, Maya searched this room, didn't she, when she was here?
She did, yes.
Yeah.
You found basically the same things that you found.
Still feel like we're missing something here, but I'm also eager to get on and see if we can. I think like we want to be hurrying off to see if we can find Maya.
Yeah.
So, yes. We'll head off. I will say, we are staying at Claridge's Hotel.
Oh, aren't you the posh people?
Yes, I am. Yes. If anything springs to mind, or any more people come asking us, would you be able to get a message to us there?
I'm sure I'll be able to do that, sir.
It's Major Sebastian Mercy.
It might cost you a couple of pennies, though.
Of course, Mrs. Atkins. I shall pay for it now, and I shall
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Would you like to stay for some tea?
I'm afraid not. And we should we hurry up? I mean, I won't speak for Roland. Do you want tea?
No, I mean, I think we have a prior engagement booked.
Yeah.
If this is where you are leaving this establishment, I'm going to say that it is round about this time that Nancy and Edward find the skinned body in the British Library, and it will be on your way down. So when you go past the British Library, you see a whole in the area of the British Library, you see a whole commotion outside, and Nancy and Edward are there standing outside.
So,
has there been a problem at the library?
Yes.
The most frightful thing has occurred. You told us of these three strange men with their skinned arms, legs, and torso.
Yes, of course.
The man who had been sitting next to us, all the skin on his arms, on his hands and his arms, has been completely burned away. He was dead. What?
I thought it was his face too.
Was it on his face as well? Sorry.
Yes, his entire body had been flayed.
Yeah. He was completely burnt away. He's been sitting next to me. It was totally silent when noticing.
Can I just insert a point of order? It wasn't burnt. It was flayed.
It was flayed.
Yeah. completely removed.
That sounds.
How the hell does someone do that quietly?
I have no idea.
I'd want to. I mean, obviously we'll never know because people played, but I'd want to see what he looked like. Nance, Miss Sutherland, I don't suppose you remember what this man looked like. Did you ever manage to catch a glimpse of him?
He just looked like a normal student.
Yes, there was nothing outstanding about him. Nothing that was particularly memorable or springs to mind.
Well, we are hurrying on to meet the Train Spotters Association. I imagine your research will be done for today now. I can't imagine people going back into the library. Do you want to come with us and see if we can find Miss Havdat?
Yes, I'm most anxious to find what has become of her.
Okay.
And
The police are starting to come around and starting to question people about what they happened and what they saw. Up to you whether you want to stay for that.
I think I want to make myself scarce.
yes, that's a good idea. We shall.
Look. Carry on down to Camberwell to the address you were given. Again, it's a normal semi-detached house, probably a train set outside running, but nothing spectacular about it.
Knock on the door.
Door opens a crack, and you see the face behind it, and he is terrified. He is scared out of his wits. Scared senseless. What do you want? No, I'm sorry, it's not convenient at the moment. Goodbye. And he goes to shut the door.
Did you speak to a lady or shout out her name? Maya. Before he shuts the door.
And he stops and goes, I had nothing to do with that. That was not me. I had nothing to do with that. She went down herself. She's disappeared. It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, so you have seen her then? She's been here.
Are you with the police?
Would you be so kind as to push the door open, please?
Roland, make me a... Ooh, what's a good one for this? I'm going to say make me a fighting brawl check. As you're basically trying to, force the door open on him.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Brawl, did you say?
Brawl. The top fighting skill, because you're basically just trying to slam the door back. Put a tick in that. So he tries to, shut the door, close the door, but you just, fling it straight open at him. I told you I had nothing to do with it. She came here, she went down to the cellar, that was the last I saw of her. Just a load of smoke, just like poor old Henry Stanley.
Well, Mr. Butters, we need to investigate this. Apologies for pushing our way in, but we need to find out what happened. Will you come with us down to the basement?
I'm not going down there. I'm not setting foot in that basement.
Oh, I think you are.
What are you going to do?
Intimidate?
Okay.
Is that a...
That is a thing you can do. That is on the list.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not very good at that, but she'll try.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh,
Well done.
of course. Anything you say, yes. It's this way, and he leads the four of you into the house, down to the cellar. It's there, and you look at the cellar, and the cellar looks just like the room. It's like soot everywhere, 2 parallel line tracks, and the train set on the table with the train on it. I showed the
So-
police. I turned it on for the police, but nothing happened. I'm not staying here. I'm going, and he like flees up the stairs. Doesn't want any part of what's and you're in the cellar, and the train set is there before you.
It looks like train tracks.
Yep, the train tracks are on the ground. Train set is on the table. Again, it's a figure of 8, but twisted. It kind of makes your eyes hurt to look at it after a while. You can see where it's raised, lowered, raised, lowered. The train sat on top of it.
Could I try and take apart a bit of the track?
The track is fixed to the board, but you can remove the trains quite easily enough.
I should do that.
If a couple of you working together could even lift it and examine it underneath as well.
Oh well, if people would help, we can certainly do that.
So as I said, it's too heavy for one person, but between 2 or 3 of you could do it quite easily. On the underside, quite strange, there is a gentleman's handkerchief pinned to the underside, and in the corner are the initials R.A.
R.L. So one would assume Randolph Alexis.
If you know that name, then yes.
Do we know that name?
What name was it?
Randolph. You would do. I believe that was in the ledger, so you have.
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
So R.A. Randolph Alexis would seem a safe guess. Can I remove it?
It's like quite heavily nailed in. It takes some force to remove it.
Do you need a roll or?
For the purposes of this, I'm going to say cannot get to it. It just like fixed. It just like permanently pinned on there. Once you look at the train, the carriages in the engine itself, see that they're all carved with little symbols. You do see the number on the front of the train. I think it's L2CV or 2LCV, which is the same number as the number in the slide you saw at Professor's lecture. The carriages and the engine are carved with little symbols, little runic symbols.
Does anyone understand these symbols?
Won't understand. One moment, please.
No.
These are not in a language you are familiar with of any kind.
That was runes were on the carriages.
Carved on the carriages, carved on the engine, yes.
I'm assuming that they're like windows on the carriages, or even like model windows, as in you can't actually see in. But can I look at them and just to see if there's any sort of portrayal of what's inside, or?
It's just a model carriage. Empty inside. It's like little. Yeah, you don't see anything inside. It's just like a model carriage.
Oh, this is going to be a. Could I like pull the roof off one of the carriages?
I will allow you to do that. Make me a strength roll, please.
Oh, I can see this going very, very badly.
Takes a bit of a while, but you manage to prise the roof off without snapping it. And you look inside, and it's just like a model carriage. You can see little model seats inside, but apart from that, that's the ordinary of it.
Any ideas, anyone?
Yeah.
It's going to sound really stupid. If I look at the top of the board
Mm-hmm.
and the pattern of the track, I know you said it goes up and down a lot, but does it resemble the runes, or if I look at it from at eye level?
Again, it appears to be like random. There are some parts where you don't quite see how the train would get around there, but it obviously does because it's in a circuit. But it's not really something that you'd recognize, and after you look at it for a few minutes, it's like your eyes start to hurt because they're trying to make sense of it.
Isn't it like a Mobius strip?
Kind of Mobius strip figure of 8, but very, very, very twisted.
And is it some sort of manner of like, I don't think it's like optical illusion where it doesn't look possible.
Some parts of it
I'm imagining a Scalextrics.
Yeah, kind of. It looks very like a train shouldn't be able to get round there, or it could get round there, but barely. And the battery is still in one corner, and the switch is set to off, by the way.
I did wonder that because this is not our character, but like someone will have needed to turn it off.
Maya turned it off.
Or did it? Sorry?
Maya.
Yeah.
You don't know this, but Maya did turn it off.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Well, the only thing it seems left to do is to turn it on, but the people who have turned it on have vanished.
Hmm.
Well, I hate to leave a soldier behind.
I mean,
Perhaps
we want
they'll find Maya somewhere else in the city.
Oh. Mr. Butters seemed quite convinced that she just vanished from within this room.
yeah, because he didn't see her leave. So
Could I have a look at the battery?
The battery is fixed to the board, but it is a big black thing. So yeah, you can look at it, but you can't pick it up really.
Yeah, it just looks like a normal battery.
Normal, whatever volt battery. Yep.
Yeah.
Hooked up wires. Which tracks.
I mean, I'm tempted to smash the thing up, but that I'm worried of the consequences that will come from that. I'm so going to say, I think whether happened to Stanley has happened to Miss Have that. Whether that means she's dead or gone somehow, she seems to be a victim of this train. If we turn it on, I dare say the same thing will happen to us. That seems very risky.
yeah,
Can I make a note of what the runes on the top of the carriages carved into the carriage in the train look like?
You should
Just
be
in
able
my
to.
notebook.
Yeah, you should be able to scribble them down quite easily.
So I know the board is very big.
Yeah.
But the train itself, how big's that?
Probably about 6-7 inches.
Because I mean, if nothing else, I don't want to leave this stuff just here for more people to have bad things happen to them. So I think even if we can't take away the whole thing, take the train. What do you think? 'Cause I'm not terribly familiar with all this, paranormal stuff.
It
I'm
does
not.
seem sensible to separate them, but there is no guarantee that whatever has happened to Miss Havdat and Mr. Stanley won't happen if this train is used on another track, or indeed a different train is used on this track.
Right. I think we need to get to this handkerchief. I'm wondering if it's some sort of clue. Is there any way, even if we start taking it apart, that we could get to this handkerchief?
I mean, you certainly can try and take it apart if that's what you want to do.
I mean, who pins a handkerchief to a model train set?
Someone as a sign of distress.
So, what are you going to do?
Well, I don't want to take any unilateral action. Are we happy trying to take apart the board to get to this handkerchief?
I am happy to help. This seems the only thing we are able to take away from this.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to start taking it apart.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. This. Make me electrical repair rolls. That's on the...
Now, is this just me, or can we have some manner of
everybody
group
who
effort?
wishes to help. I'll tell you what I'll do. If two or more people are helping you, then you can have a boat. Then whoever is doing the electrical repair roll can have a bonus dice.
Who has a good electrical repair? Mine's 10.
Mine is also 10.
Let's see what mine is. 'Cause
Yeah.
I had like car proficiency.
What was that? Electrical repair?
Electrical repair.
Where is that?
Left-hand side, top section.
Got a 10.
Everybody's
Yeah,
got 10.
so we're all equally bad at
Yeah,
six.
we're all
It's
equal.
quite new, this electricity thing.
So I'm going to say one of you make the roll and make it with the bonus dice because everybody's chipping in to help.
Now I'm happy to roll. How do I activate the bonus dice feature?
When you roll the dice, the card comes up and there's a little link that says bonus penalty underneath it.
That's right, yes. Right.
So bonus dice.
Oh dear. And then bonus penalty.
Yep. And you take the... That's 39, but that's still a fail. You can either accept that result, use luck on it, or push the roll.
How much luck do I have? Because I'm not pushing that, I'll tell you that right. That's gonna end. I don't want to make or anything we're doomed. Which one's looking our little icon?
The left-hand one, I think it's the red one.
Yeah, I've got 68 luck, so yeah, I'll spend that.
29 luck points. Takes you some time, some tinkering, but you do manage to disassemble the track, and you do manage to take apart the board, and you do get the handkerchief, and you now have a handkerchief with RA in the corner, and the pieces of the train set are scattered around you.
Can I look at this handkerchief? Like, examine it? If it is just a handkerchief.
It is a handkerchief with RA in the corner.
Well, I have a handkerchief. I was hoping for more from that, to be honest. Should we speak to this Butters fellow again?
Maybe if we can get him to calm down a little bit. Not in this room.
Well, if we head upstairs, I will start packing up just the train, not the track. I'm not interested in that, but I do want to take the train.
And he is there, like, sitting in a chair, but he's like shaking a bit. You can still a bit shaken up by what's happened. Have you finished down there?
Time being, we need some answers, Butters. What is going on here?
course. What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Is there any legends attached? Any stories or myths in your association of people disappearing via train?
There's always these stories of ghost trains, but no, but I'm more concerned with what I can see with the trains, what I can see in the physical. None of these nonsense ghost stories like what happened down there.
Okay, so on the train itself, on the model, there was runes on it, symbols. Do they mean anything to you?
No, I didn't see. I just thought they were decorations on the train set. I think there's anything else that happened to them. It's just a train set. So I pressed it on and it went round once and nothing happened. Train set.
So you only ran it the once.
But that's all they wanted to see, just to show them that it was safe.
And this was the police.
Yes, this is the police. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Were you not tempted to run it for longer, Mr. Bushes?
Surely this was brought as a toy to be used.
I've more important things to do with running the association. As much as I would like to use train sets, I don't have the time really. Just the police just wanted to see it, and they're going to come and collect it in a few days after I finish examining it. But it was just a train set. I didn't find anything wrong with it.
Do you know a Mr. Adkins?
Arthur Atkins?
Yes.
Yes, a long-standing member. He died a few years ago, I understand. It's very sad. His widow was especially heartbroken. It's good of young Stanley to look after her like that.
Nothing suspicious about it?
Suspicious? What? Oh, of course not. No, young Stanley. His heart was set on trains. He had no romantic inclinations at all for anybody, least of all an older widow. Do you mind? I think I want to be alone. I need to get some rest. It's been a trying couple of days, and it's probably only going to get worse.
Have you reported Miss Havdat's disappearance to the police, sir?
Of course I did. That's the first thing I did. They didn't seem to. They said they'd investigate. So they asked me questions, but I told them what I told you, and now I imagine they're going to try and pin it on me.
Who was the officer in charge of the investigation?
It was only the local sergeant. He came down for it. Sergeant. I got a sergeant. I didn't get his name. I'm afraid. I've been Sergeant. Get with the name here. Sergeant.
Merriweather.
Merriweather. That's as good a name as any. Sergeant Merriweather.
Well, that sounds like a made-up name. I'm not sure it's a real police.
Suspicious if somebody else is giving you a name.
I'm out of ideas myself here. I don't know what else to do.
Well, can't we report her missing as well at the train station? Train station, police station.
It might be good to talk with them, but I'm absolutely flummoxed by all this.
And the writing on the train and that, would it be worth getting it translated, or
if you can find
searching the library?
You can find
I don't
someone
know.
to do it.
Like, does it match anything that anybody's seen at the museum?
I'm impressed that you come up with all these ideas.
I'd
I wasn't like, I was like, oh, why didn't, yeah, of course. That he been in the museums and libraries and, yeah.
This is me. I watch an episode of either Father Brown or Shakespeare and Hathaway or Murdoch Mysteries every single day.
love it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I
It's
know
all these
exactly
ideas.
what.
So it is getting towards evening time now. So what are you going to do? Your plan of action?
I would want to report Maya this evening is missing to the police.
Yeah.
Not that I think they'll do anything more.
Okay.
No, but if there's two lots,
You go to the local police station, report Maya is missing, and it said, "Yes, we have had a report of this person missing. You say her name is Maya. Have that. We will add that to our report. We will get back to you as soon as we hear anything."
That doesn't sound terribly promising.
no.
Everything that is being done, that can be done, is being done, sir.
Yes, I've used that line a lot myself. What are you actually doing?
Door to door, asking if anybody has seen this person. Questioning the gentleman Arthur Butters, the usual police routine, sir.
Very well. Should we head back to the hotel? I imagine, like, if we want to do some research, that's not going to be an option till tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Head back to the
wonder, is
hotel?
anyone, like, I feel none of us know much about all this mystical stuff.
Was there? Sorry.
No, I just think if someone could, like, if like Professor Smith seemed to be investigating this sort of stuff. Is there another person in that field?
I was just going to suggest the same thing. Was there anybody at the convention that we went to that agreed with him?
There are lots of people there. Nobody really stuck out. Actually, this would be a bit weird, but make me a spot hidden, a retroactive spot hidden. Though, everybody, make me a spot hidden check. Wow.
Damn it.
Luck is always an option.
Bear with me. Where is spot hidden?
To the right.
Right-hand side, I think.
Yeah, right. All the skills are they're in alphabetical order. All the skills are. So
that doesn't help with dyslexia.
up to you if you want to use luck on it, of course. But Nancy and Major Mercy. Now that you think back to it, you did see when you were talking to the Professor, they did see someone else who seemed to be interested in your conversation. He had a dark hair, big bushy moustache, and a kind of complexion that marked him out as a visitor to the halls. From the east. You only really saw a glimpse of him. Then he nodded an apology, and then.
Oh, that sounds like it could either be Professor Demir or one of the numerous Macreats. But it doesn't help us find anyone, does it? Like,
we could always return to. Can't remember where it was. Wrong page. To the Imperial Institute, see if anyone remembers or has a guest list from that day.
Okay. This is all going to have to be tomorrow because it is getting late now.
Yes.
Hey, so are you traveling back to your hotel?
yes.
So you return back to the hotel, have your evening dinner, return to your rooms, and it's a restless sleep. You dream. It's not a very pleasant dream. You each dream of a train thundering through a grey void. And as the train goes past, you see in the windows, and you see someone you don't recognise hammering on the windows, and you see the face of Maya at the window as well. And the train passes out of sight. Maya. After a couple of hours, your sight slowly returns to you. Remember, you were blinded by what you saw outside the train.
Yeah.
And also you feel your mind start to calm a bit as well. Whatever had taken hold of it seems to have left it for now, and you find yourself in a calmer state of mind. And the professor, Randolph Alexis, says to you, "I see you're, I see you're feeling better now."
Yes, a little.
Good. I have something to show you. I think it's possibly a way out of here, but I haven't been able to make it work. And he takes you out of the compartment into the compartment next door, and you got to like the old Hogwarts Express sort of thing.
Isn't the one
corridor
that had all the banging.
Sorry.
I'm assuming this isn't the one that had all the banging.
No, that was at the end of the corridor. It's like the corridor with like the seating compartments, and he takes you into a compartment further down towards the other end of the train. And he opens the door and says, "Yes, this is my my ticket out of here," you might say. And you look on the ground, and there's just like intestines and viscera strewn all over the ground in a vague figure of 8 pattern that's twisted in a familiar way.
Okay.
And he says, "I've been trying to reproduce the pattern, but I can't seem to get it right. I don't know what it is. Something about it." And you look at it, it's like flat on the ground, this twisting figure of 8 pattern that does resemble the train tracks on the train set.
Having just seen the train tracks recently, would I be able to notice any differences between the two?
I'm going to make you make an intelligence check for this, but I'm just going to give it to you because, yeah, you have seen it. Yes, the difference that you see is the train sets that you had seen before had ramps that raised and lowered. This one does not.
Okay, can I kind of pulling a bit of a face and at the smell, I imagine, because I imagine it smells badly. Start looking for something that I could use for makeshift ramps.
You can just find little bits of bone or like chunks of flesh that you can use, and the Professor Randolph Alexis says, "Oh, you need bones. One moment," and he leaves the compartment. You hear him scuttering away. Short while he comes back, and he's got like armfuls of bones with what looks like flesh, like still dripping off them. He goes, "Here, take these. My son won't be needing them anymore."
I hope you didn't kill anyone to get them.
No. Certainly not. No, it's just my son won't be needing these anymore. Here, you can make use of them.
Maya's a little bit freaked out by this, but takes them.
Okay.
And starts kind of looking to try and replicate what she'd seen before.
Okay, I will ask you to make a sanity roll, though, because this is unpleasant work.
Yes. I was expecting that, to be fair.
Yep.
Oh, God.
That's only 3, though. 3 sanity. This time round.
Right. Oops, sorry.
Yep. So, it's grisly work, but you do think you managed to, after a while, you managed to replicate the pattern as best as you can. Now you need something to push around it.
Can I find, like, a block of soap or something?
Alexis says, "Here, use this." And he holds out a heart to you. Tubes dripping with blood.
Does it have to be a heart?
Well, I'm sure you understand that we make use of what we have.
Okay. I take the heart.
Okay.
bit of, and I start trying to push it around.
Okay, so you push it round. Kind of lose track of how many times you push it round. But after about, what you think maybe, 25, 30, there's a smash of glass outside. And another smash of glass. I need you... Actually, we're going to be... I'm going to ask you to make me dexterity checks to continue pushing this thing around, because the Randolph Alexis takes one look outside and he goes, it seems our fellow passengers have decided to enter this carriage by a different way. They're coming. Okay. You hear shuffling getting closer and closer to the door. Make me another one.
I kind of shout at Randolph to kind of bar the door.
Well, okay, yep. Bashing on the door outside. And again, please. Don't quite get it that time. But he's still pushing around. He kind of slips, but he managed to catch it and continue pushing it around. By this time, both Randolph is back against the door, and you can see the door starting to budge a bit. Maybe another one. You still have luck, don't forget to use.
Yeah.
Okay. You see a hand, as you look up, you see a hand start to come outside the window where Arthur is sitting. Again?
And I kind of shout at Arthur to bar the windows.
Yep. That one, you get a sudden burst of speed, and you manage to get the heart round in quick succession. And by this time, the window smashes and an arm reaches in and wraps around Arthur's head and tries to pull him out, and he's screaming.
I keep going.
Yep. You push it round 2 more times, and you feel a thump. You feel like something changes around you and inside you, like you go through a doorway or a membrane or something. I need you to you would have regained your magic points because they restore every hour, so yeah,
Right,
so
I'm back
gain
up to
3,
10.
but you lose another 3 because of transition.
Okay.
And the attack stops, all the pounding stops, the arm disappears from the window. You look outside the window and the train is travelling through fields, trees, cabins.
Is it
It looks
anywhere I recognise?
Not you, but Randolph says, "Aha, we're back! We did it! It worked! Ha 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 ha! It worked! We're back! We're back on our way."
I suggest we get off the train before.
I think that'd be a very good idea. Make me a listen roll, please. You hear whistling, panicked whistling coming from the distance, not from this train. It occurs to you that you are on a train travelling at speed with no driver.
What? Yeah, I suggest we abort train as quick as possible, and I go to jump out the window if I can.
You can jump out the window. I require you to make me a jump roll. As you're trying to jump from a moving window. Very good. However, you do land, and you will take some damage from that. You will take 1 point of damage, hit point damage, as you land and roll and get some bruises. Arthur isn't quite so lucky, and he lands quite heavily, and you hear he tries to stand up, but his ankle has been sprained. Randolph just lands on all fours like a cat, cackling madly all the way.
I thought it was Henry Stanley, not Arthur.
Sorry, not Arthur, but that was my mistake. Henry Stanley. You're absolutely right. Yep, he sprains his ankle. Yes, but the train does barrel into the distance, into the back of the coal freight train that was on the track ahead of it. there's a huge explosion as the train just wrecks completely.
That was a close one.
You stand up, groggily, shakily. Henry looks around and goes, I think, looking around, I think we're in Northampton.
Okay.
There's a station a few miles back down that way, points back down the track. Gonna need some help, though. Randolph says, well, I don't know about you, but I've had an amazing time. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Maybe I'll pass across again. I've got to go home and let my wife know that I'm okay. Toodle pip. You turn around and he's just gone.
I turn to Henry and say, do you need a hand?
That'd be very kind of you. I think I landed quite heavily.
Arm over the shoulder so he can use me as a splint and start heading off towards the station he directed us to along the tracks.
Okay. To cut a long story short, to get us to the end of this part, you reach the station, the little town of Northampton. It's about, Northampton, 50 miles northwest of London, along the London-Liverpool route.
Mm-hmm.
While you're there, it's got a post office. It's got an inn you can rest up in. It's probably going to take 2 or 3 days for the track to clear and the trains to run again. You want to let your friends know that you're safe?
Yeah, I was going to say I'll be getting the.
This will be a telegram
on the phone to the hotel that I'm staying in, and just.
I think
I'll give them a very brief update to say I'm in Northampton.
I think it's going to be a telegram rather than the phone.
Yeah.
So the next day, the paper for you guys back in the hotel in London. The next day, the papers are full of this whole thing. Another person disappears. More human combustion. Train Spotters Association to blame. That sort of thing. But after late morning, the concierge brings you a telegram from Maya Havdat, basically saying she's safe in Northampton.
And I'll just say, have Henry Stanley, and it's a long story. We'll tell when meet.
So, it is now the 12th of January, so I'm going to just step in and fast, unless there's anything anybody really wants to do. We can fast forward to the 14th, to the start of your journey.
Sounds good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, after a couple of days, Maya, you managed to return home. Henry also returns home, and he's decided he's done with trains. He decided, no, he's going to take up something simpler like stamp collecting. Maya, you reunite with your friends at the Claridge's Hotel. The 14th rolls around, 2:30 on the 14th. The train is due to leave from Victoria. Are you aboard the train?
Yeah.
Yep.
The train leaves Victoria.
Maya's very reluctant to get on the train.
You were lucky. I could have done something much worse to you. You all board the train at Victoria Station for the 2-hour trip to Dover, leaving London behind. Your journey has officially begun. And so, with that, we come to the end of the second part of Horror on the Orient Express. After we finish the stream, we'll do our investigative development phase, because this is the point where it's like a level up for the character. So we do that after the stream. But for now, go around the. Sorry, yeah.
Can I just ask a quick question? Do I get a point, like a dot in my jumper rule there as well?
Yes, you do. Most definitely, yes, because you didn't. Yeah, you got that definitely.
Okay. Sorry. Go on.
Yep. So let's go around the table. As I like to do, find out people's favourite moments from the session. Start with One-Winged Angel. What was your favourite part?
Probably just on the whole, Maya Havdat's gone off on her own and gotten herself into trouble. And I like the fact that everyone else kind of came to try and find out what happened.
Sarah?
The bit with the bodies was a bit grim. Good, but grim.
Yep. Sarah?
I've just found that whole bit fascinating. That this mysterious train has now turned up again after Maya managed to recreate the track pattern in Blood and Guts.
In fact, Maya, you think that you know enough to be able to reproduce it at a later date if you need to.
I think having had to do it out of Blood and Guts, I think that's probably quite ingrained into her memory.
Yeah. So you might be able to reproduce it if the need arises. Richard. Dark Lord Richard.
Well, I like going to the embassy. I thought that was quite fun, and just finding out all this stuff. Very incompetent guy at the desk who's like, "Don't believe these rumors that people have heard." What rumors? Oh, these rumors. I like that.
Yeah.
Steam Chew.
I don't know.
Lots of blood and guts for you there.
Yeah, lots of blood and guts. I admit, I quite like just trying to think out the box and try to think of other ways that we can do things.
Very good.
I also went to see the old lady, and we just came to the conclusion that she wasn't a sweet old lady.
I love how you just round with it. You just made
think she was something else.
You just made it complete this entire subplot that we could have jumped into if we'd been able to. But yeah, maybe we should come up again some point, and she's actually the bit behind everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in another game, I would have killed her. I was worried she was really a really sinister character, and I was proven right once about that before, so I was gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, but, never underestimate
Yep.
And old women.
Brian Croy Dragon.
Probably the discovery of our electrical repair is all the same.
Yeah, none of you took any points in electrical repair.
It's all going to be electrical repair checks from now on in. That's going to be everything we come across.
Yep. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, if it comes to leveling up, I might work on the electrical repair.
I'll explain how that works after the stream. So, but for now, the investigators have left London, officially starting their journey, and I can show you this other map actually that we haven't been able to show yet.
Oh, world map.
You are here, and you are going towards Dover.
Uh-huh.
So this is the route. This is the route of your journey.
Yes.
But
it
for
feels
now,
very Indiana Jonesy.
But for now, the journey will continue next time.